What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Powered by Primus, and welcome back to Heroes Rise Round 4. We do have Rudy on the right side playing a Go Fish deck, which is definitely all of his creation, and I thought what better than to watch the man who created it, the master of it, do what he does best and play this deck. And then on the left side of our field, we definitely do have Ken playing another Metroplex list. That was one thing that was very surprising about this tournament, is that we actually had a lot of Metroplex players show up, and for good reason, seeing as how it is a very powerful character and has a very solid deck. Looks like Rudy's going to go first, flipping Scrapnel and attacking in. That does allow him to only take 3 attack damage back with Scrapnel, which is really nice. Getting in here for a pretty big attack, flipping that white was really nice, giving him 2 extra cards, and then obviously the Piece of Tyranny. It does look like that Ken is going to match him with the double blue on that side, is going to be blocking a lot of that damage, which is really nice and really beneficial for Metroplexing, is how he really doesn't want to be taking damage early game. It looks like Rudy here is deciding if he wants to go for the Bashing Shield or not, or the Spare Parts on the top. That is one card that actually really amazes me sitting here looking at his list, is that the Spare Parts is actually a really cool card, and we're probably going to be able to see some really fun shenanigans with Jetfire in the middle of the screen there, and then also Chromia on that far right, being able to fish back a lot of those whites, obviously where he gets some of the name from the deck. Ken is choosing to go for a Flamethrower there, flipping Metroplex for the turn. That's going to give him Bold 2. Hopefully being able to trigger here will be really nice for him. Let's see if he does get it. Flipping a blue there. I cannot see. I think that's an Ancient Wisdom. I do see one on his list, which is really cool. So that is going to be 2 oranges, 2 blues. It looks like he's not getting the white. Super unfortunate not being able to get the proc there. So it looks like no matter what, the Scrapnel is going to be taking 3. It does. Rudy does not have a lot of blues in the deck, so he's definitely not in on the defensive plan. It looks like it is definitely all about the upgrades. Always remember to stay hydrated, folks. Ken is on the right page there, making sure he drinks tons of water and has an amazing jersey on. I'm not going to lie, I love his jersey. All right, we're getting a flip for the Jetfire here, digging through his scrap pile, see what he does pull out. He does pull out that Spare Parts, and this is going to be really nice here. Puts a force field on a Jetfire as well. Now, the one thing about Spare Parts is that it says that if your opponent would make you scrap an upgrade from the same character, then you can scrap Spare Parts instead. So essentially, it is a block for stuff like that, which is a really nice card, and I believe it's going to get a lot more play, especially coming into Wave 3 with Micromasters. Now, it looks like we're getting Chromia attacking in here, flipping some nice oranges. No blues on the defensive side there, so Metroplex going to be taking a pretty big hit. Now it looks like he's also getting, oh sorry, that was an attack with the other character. Now he's getting in with the Jetfire. Getting 1 blue there on defense is pretty nice for Metroplex. Definitely not where he wants to be. Hasn't really taken a whole lot of damage, which is pretty nice, but it is definitely a solid grip of damage he's been able to take there. He's going to have to start deploying some little guys, or this game's going to quickly get out of hand. Looks like looking at his list, he does have tons of ways to be flipping, but he is going to be flipping this turn through a hard flip to be able to get out 6 gun there. 6 gun does allow in Metroplex to attack to be able to deal 1 damage to the defender. It will be really nice if he does attack into the Scrapnel. The 1 point of free damage will be able to put Scrapnel at 4, and then he'll take 3 from the attack, which will KO Scrapnel. That is definitely a nice little play here to be able to get that Scrapnel off of the field and not have to worry about 2 attacks going into Scrapnel if that is his play. It does then also open up him to be able to be attacked by the other 2 characters. So we'll see what Ken ends up going with. Playing a handheld blaster on 6 guns, and can be able to give him Bold 1. And he's going to be cracking in. It looks like he's going to be going into, looks like Scrapnel. We'll see what he actually ends up going with. Flipping 2 oranges there is nice. And then there is the Bold 1, which can give him the double blues. Rudy's flipping on the defense. All right, that's still going to be getting 3 damage into Scrapnel there. Maybe the other play that Ken is going for here, which might be really nice, is that he is going to be able to attack with Metroplex, hopefully into Jetfire or Chromia, and then be able to proc his ability, which will deal 1 damage to that Scrapnel, getting him off of the field. He's going to have to deploy a character next turn to be able to achieve that, because most likely Rudy's going to be either throwing in Chromia here, which looks like that is the play. He's going to be playing the Flamethrower onto Chromia, giving her Bolt 2. Really nice to hopefully be able to proc her ability. Oh, looks like he's taking that back and putting that on Scrapnel. Scrapnel has definitely got at least 1 foot in the grave, so he's sending him on a very happy way out of here with the Bolt 2. Flipping a white on this side. Rudy definitely does run a lot of whites in this list, which is really nice. Really beneficial for Chromia being able to fish stuff out and be able to draw 2 additional cards. So it looks like he's going to be getting in some good damage there on 6-gun, and it's going to be enough to take him out. All right, looks like we are getting a hard flip with Metroplex here, and hopefully a way to deploy another little character so he doesn't have to spend a big attack going into Scrapnel. It'd be pretty unfortunate if that's the play that he does have to go with, seeing as how this Scrapnel is definitely dead to rights. Maybe he's got a way of dealing 1 damage, which I'm not seeing in his list at all. Going with the height advantage, which is going to be able to give him that Bolt 4. And it looks like he is sending him into Scrapnel, hopefully being able to get this proc ability. So essentially the attack won't be able to go through anymore. The 1 damage will just directly KO. It looks like I do see... Wow, I think you did not get the proc. I think there's only 1 blue out there that I'm seeing, but that is definitely... I guess there is double blues out there? Looks like they're also doing the same thing. They're looking for it, and I don't see a second blue in that list. And it looks like Ken's pointing out that there is not a blue in the list. Rudy is definitely under the assumption that after flipping that many cards, it is crazy that another blue didn't show up, and I completely agree. That is a crazy amount of cards to flip. It will definitely be taking out Scrapnel here. Super unfortunate for Ken that he wasn't able to get that blue there. It would have been absolutely huge if he'd have been able to get that. Alrighty, let's see here. Rudy's got quite a grip of cards in his hand. I see a bunch of flamethrowers. Just drew a power punch off of that. He does have a rollout, which is nice, and that's what he's going to be looking for here, is looking through a scrap pile, what he'd like to fish out. With playing rollout, he's going to be able to flip Chromia, pull out a white battle icon card, and then with Jetfire being able to put on an armor or a utility, which he runs a bunch of in the list. So let's see what he does choose to go with here. We're also looking at a Secret Dealings, which is the card that he's going to be playing. That does allow him to draw 1 and plan 1 if he wishes. If not, he just gets to draw a card. Always remember that planning is optional and is definitely not a requirement. Looks like he's putting a Flamethrower on top. Going to be flipping a Jetfire for the turn, which is going to be able to give him Bold 1, allowing him to attack for 1 more. And then also playing a Flamethrower, giving him now Bold 3 in total, 1 off the base, and then 2 more off of the Flamethrower. Alrighty, he's going to be sending him in again with the Bolt 3. Let's see what kind of damage that Jetfire can put out. It's going to be quite a bit here. The other little fun fancy card that Rudy does run in this list is Battle Ready. Battle Ready does give him +1 for each upgrade on the character. And as you can see there, if you were to play something like that on a Jetfire, giving him +3 attack is really, really nice. Looks like Chromia is getting in. It did flip a white battle icon, but did not get a second off of her ability, so he will not be drawing 2 additional cards off of that. He is separating all the cards that he did attack with for the turn to make sure that they do not get shuffled into the deck. This is definitely right, as you should always make sure that you keep all of those cards separated for the turn, just in case you do have to reshuffle. It does prevent you from putting those cards back into your deck. Now, one thing that I've told Ken multiple times, which is definitely a side note thing here, is that his sleeves are really cool. They are almost like a granite countertop or whatever else, but they have like this really, really fancy like sparkle that's inside of them, and they almost look like they're a metal or a die cast. It's complete side note, but they are really, really cool sleeves. All right, looks like he is untapping here with his Metroplex. Let's see what he can do. That force field is going to be kind of a problem on the Jetfire. He's going to be going for a flip for the turn. He's probably going to be bringing out, yep, Slammer, which is going to be dealing 1 damage to every character. Again, kind of unfortunate that he did have to do that attack into the Scrapnel. Even just deploying something as easy as Slammer would have been a really nice way to be able to take out that Scrapnel. Playing Improvised Shield, allowing him to get Tough 1, which is nice, especially since Slammer already has 3 armor, and then the bigger they are is going to be able to give him +2 attack and then Pierce 4, no matter who he does choose to go for. Getting 2 off of that as well is going to be actually a pretty big hit from Slammer. They're doing the math here. I believe that is 8 damage in total. Not flipping any blues. If he's going after Jetfire, all this is going to do is bust that force field and take 4. It looks like he did go after Chromia, which is going to get a pretty big hit there on Chromia. The good part about that play is that this does allow Rudy to attack with Jetfire and allow him to protect Chromia from a big hit. Holy crap, he's going to be playing a Power Punch on Chromia. It's going to really help him be able to proc her ability, not to mention Bolt 3 is always super nice in a more aggressive orange list. So it looks like he is offering her up, and he is throwing her out there with that Bolt 3. Getting quite a bit of orange cards to flip here. Like I said, big surprise. It is a heavy orange list. Holy crap. Getting 3 of those double oranges off the 3 improvised shields. That is going to be an insane amount of damage, and that's probably going to send this Slammer packing. Even after the 6, I think it's still enough to get it done. And it looks like it is. Yeah, I don't see any ways in Ken's list here for him to be able to interact with breaking any upgrades or anything such as that. Looks like he's playing a Supercharge onto this Metroplex. It's going to allow him to most likely be able to finish off this Chromia and then hopefully tap down the Jetfire to at least prevent 1 more additional attack from it. We'll see how this pans out. So we got the 2 whites. Wow, it looks like he is flipping an insane amount of whites here. All right, there's a double orange. All I need now is a double blue. And there it is. That is going to be able to get the ability. Lucky, lucky him. It will automatically deal 1 damage to each character. And this is for sure going to be able to be enough. It is 8 damage going into that Chromia. We only saw, I believe, 5 cards on Rudy's side of the table that did feature blue, and that was through Matrix of Leadership and Rollouts. Didn't get any there, which is going to send her packing. That does tap him down, but he's just going to straighten him up because obviously they're going to be resetting. Now this is still going to allow Jetfire to be able to get the attack in, but it did put 1 damage on him. Say Rudy is going for the flip, which would allow him to fish out an armor or a utility. Looks like he is going for the Debilitating Crystal, which is going to allow him to return an upgrade on a character when he does attack. He's most likely going to be looking at returning that Force Field to allow him to get a big hit in here on the Metroplex. Alrighty, with him bouncing this, I think it might be enough to end this game. See what kind of damage that he does deal. Having the bold 2 is really nice. Flipping that white also allows him to flip 2 additional cards. He did get a double battle icon card there. And I think this math gives Rudy game 1. Let's see how they come up with the numbers as well. Alrighty, looks like it was enough to get the job done. That is going to be game 1 for Rudy, and let's get into game number 2. Alrighty, looks like both players are shuffled up and ready to go. Let's see who decides to go first in this game. It looks like Ken has chosen for Rudy to go first. He's going with the classic turn with Scrapnel, flip, and attack. Flipping a white there on top, allowing him to get 2 more in here is going to be pretty big, especially not flipping any blues on defense. Luckily, while Metroplex is in this mode, he at least does have 1 additional armor, so that's going to help him take, obviously, 1 less damage. Looks like Rudy here is deciding if he wants to go for one of those secret dealings, and it looks like he does choose to pitch that. That's the other really good part about this deck, and a really fun thing that I like about it is that it's really nice to be able to pitch those armors and utilities to be able to get cards like that, because Jetfire is just able to flip and get them back from the scrapyard, so essentially giving you a free upgrade for the turn. Looks like Ken is going for a flip here and a supercharge. He is going all in on this attack. Let's see if he can get this ability to proc. Getting 2 oranges off of the top. It looks like there is a white. There's a double blue. Just needs 1 more white. There is the white to be able to proc the ability. It's going to be able to allow him to get 3 damage in onto Scrapnel, and then 1 across the board, which will also deal that 4th damage to Scrapnel, which is actually really important, so he doesn't have to worry about sending 2 more attacks. He can just send 1 more attack into Scrapnel. There is the tap down. The other benefit to that is that it does essentially turn off 2 attacks from Rudy's side. They do get to straighten, and Rudy does get to attack. However, he does not get to attack with both of his characters, which is going to save a lot of damage from that Metroplex. All right, it looks like they are straightening up here. Rudy has drawn a card, weighing in some of his options here. Here's one thing that I will admit is that Rudy is one hell of a character to play up against. He's really, really fun, and I always have awesome, awesome matches with him. Truly, truly an awesome guy. He does as well have a YouTube channel, which I'm going to link down in the description box below. If you guys do want to go check him out, his YouTube channel is Shockwaves Labs. Is going with a spare parts there on the Jetfire, playing a supercharge onto the Scrapnel and sending him in himself. He knows that he is pretty much already KO'd at this point, so might as well do some damage on his way out the door. That bolt 3 is going to be really nice, but also with the Metroplex Ken on the left side flipping 3 blues is going to be very nice as well, being able to prevent a lot of that damage, seeing as how it is very, very important. Now we're going to see what Ken's going to go with here, either trying to get another Metroplex proc, which wouldn't be bad at all, or also choosing to go for a deploy for the turn as well, bringing out another character. It looks like he's going for a hard flip to be able to bring out Slammer. Dealing 1 damage to everybody is really nice. Getting all of that, just 1 extra point of damage across the board, is going to be beneficial here. Plus, if Slammer can attack and take out this Scrapnel for the turn, it does allow him to still hold his Metroplex back. Going with an incoming transmission, allowing him to draw 2 cards, stacking 1 on top. Always really nice for Metroplex to try to put a card that you're trying to set up for. This one, I would imagine that he's going to be going for the Slammer attack, playing an armor plating there, and which is going to give him +1 armor, and he's going to be sending that Slammer into Scrapnel. Getting a white battle icon there, another orange. Man, that is quite a bit of damage for a Slammer to be putting out. There's definitely not a sequence of flips here that Rudy can do to be able to keep that Scrapnel alive, so it's going to be sending him packing. Ken is definitely in a pretty good spot here, especially with Rudy having to attack into the Slammer. He does have 4 base armor, which is actually really high in comparison, and then to be able to flip a couple of blues here is going to be really nice to hopefully have this Slammer stick around for the turn, and then he's going to be able to get a crack back with Metroplex. See what he does here. He's showing us that piece of tyranny, so obviously he's probably going to be stacking that back on top for the attack. One thing that you can always do, especially when it comes to stacking for Chromia, is always try to put a white battle icon on top. Looks like he's equipping her with an erratic lightning first to be able to get in. Looks like he did stack that on top. And look, another one to follow it up, man. That is going to be an insane amount of damage from that Chromia, which is going to be enough to take out the Slammer no matter how much armor that he did base have. We're going to see what Ken's going to go with for the turn. It's been really unfortunate he hasn't been able to get a card. Oh, there it is right there. So he is going to get that rapid conversion, which and then following up with a hard flip to be able to deploy another character is really nice. I was just about to make a mention about how we haven't seen any free flip cards on his side of the table yet, when I know that his deck definitely has some access to it, but we did see one there. And it looks like he's going to be attacking with Slammer after putting a flamethrower down on Metroplex, getting him ready for next turn. Alrighty, getting actually a couple of blues on that defensive flip there. However, the erratic lightning is going to be taking one of those blues away, so obviously this Chromia is going to be taking some damage. Alrighty, Rudy's going to be drawing for the turn. He has some awesome sleeves as well. Always really fun. Alright, looks like he is flipping Jetfire there, which is going to give him access to Bold 1. Going to be playing the Flamethrower. Now he's going to have Bolt 3. And then again, just being fully kitted with all of those upgrades is what makes him so dangerous. And even having the spare parts to be able to protect the Flamethrower is a really, really, really cool combo. It's definitely something that I super, super like. And it's one of the things that makes his deck really difficult to play against. Getting a bunch of oranges there. I believe that was going to be able to take out the 6-gun. It is enough to take him out. That was quite a bit of damage, and definitely not flipping enough blues on defense to be able to survive the hit. Benefit here is that he's going to be able to go for a big Metroplex attack. He's playing a data pad, which when you do attack, you get to draw a card and then stack one. He's also playing height advantage, so he is definitely going to be dealing an insane amount of damage here. He is choosing to go after Jetfire. I don't know how well that is going to work out for him, especially with that Jetfire having the force field. It's going to be able to protect him from a lot of the damage. He will probably get the proc. I would at least hope so, with being able to flip with Bold 6. We were seeing double oranges, double blues there. He just has to get a couple of whites in, but it looks like he's just not coming. Oh, there is a 1 white, which can allow him to flip 2 more. There is a 2nd white, so he is going to be able to get the proc. They're going to tap down both characters. He's going to add 1 damage to each character first, is that this is the way that the trigger should be handled before damage is taken out, just in case a character is KO'd from this. They actually wouldn't flip a defense. Alrighty, we do have 10 damage getting in. All that's going to do, again, is break that force field and allow him to take 4 damage. I think going after Chromia there would have probably been the right play to try to take out Chromia so he doesn't get 2 attacks on you, or even just get an additional attack off of Chromia. Might have been a little better, especially being able to put 1 down onto him. Under the Jetfire, at least you would have maybe been able to help yourself out for the turn. Let's see how that's going to work out in the long term. He's going to be flipping the Jetfire for the turn, which is going to allow him to pull something back from the scrapyard, which again is going to be that force field. Like I said, something I just was talking about earlier is it's just really hard to KO Jetfire in this deck because he's constantly getting back these force fields to allow him to be able to just take very baby damage at a time. And seeing as how Jetfire has 15 health, it's going to take you a long time to whittle him down. Alrighty, getting in with Chromia, attacking big numbers here. Let's see if he can get the proc as well. There is a white battle icon card, so let's see how that works out for him. It does also help as well that Ken did flip a white for his first card. It will allow him to flip 2 more additional cards on defense. Hopefully he flips a couple of blues here. Let's see what happens. But like, even looking at the board today, I couldn't really tell you who's in an advantageous spot. Rudy definitely is in a nice spot, always being able to have these flamethrowers on, but only having 10 damage onto the Metroplex is also still a lot of damage that Rudy does have to put on here. So we're getting a 1 on the defensive side of things, so this RC is going to be getting in for a pretty big hit. Again, it would have been really interesting to see if Ken would have gone for the RC last turn, possibly KOing the RC, would have been able to save him from that attack. And the Jetfire would have had a swing in here, and then they would have had a reset, and he'd have been able to go back. Again, looking at Ken's list, though, he doesn't have a way to deal with these force fields. Even if he did, he unfortunately would have to get through a spare parts as well. This is going to be a really good card. Scamper allows you to scrap an enemy, weapon, or armor off of a character. Now choose. Granted, he can choose to go for the force field, but will still have to get through the spare parts. He can also choose to go for the weapon, but again, that spare parts is really going to be holding him back. being able to attack with the little guy here is going to be nice to be able to get some damage onto the RC. Onto the Chromia. It's also going to be really nice because it's going to prevent him from taking damage to his Metroplex, seeing as how the Jetfire is going to have to go into the little character, and then hopefully Metroplex can finish somebody off and maybe put, a good few damage onto the Jetfire. He is flipping for the turn, and that Jetfire to be able to get that bold one to turn back on. It's going after obviously his only target, the tap down character. Flipping a couple of whites is going to allow him 2 more cards to flip on attacking. Going to be getting in for quite a bit of damage here. I don't know if there's a way that he's going to be able to make it out of this. And it looks like they came to the same realization. Drawing for the turn, it looks like he's going for an armor plating. That is a fully loaded Metroplex. It's going to give him 1 base armor, which is going to be nice. And then playing a supercharge, meaning that he has bold 5 for the turn. Let's see who he does choose to target for the attack. I still think that it's better in this situation for him to go after the Chromia and really finish the Chromia. Looks like the Chromia only has 7 damage on it, and Rudy's also pointing out for him to proc the datapad. Looks like he did draw one, and he did stack a double blue on top, helping him proc this ability. There is a white, so we only need to see 1 more white and 1 more orange to be able to finish off this ability. He still has quite a bit of more cards to flip. That's only the 2 base, and then technically 2 off of the white, so he still has 5 to flip. I did see another orange there. We need 1 more white for this ability to go. Wow, and after all those flips, only flipping 1 white battle icon. Ken is getting super, super unlucky with these flips, and that is very, very unfortunate. Looking at his list, he definitely has all the abilities to proc, and we've seen it proc before. Man, that is seeing a lot of blue on that attack. Now, luckily, is enough to still take out the Chromia. He just does get to minus the 1 damage from Jetfire, which might actually end up being relevant, especially with force fields being able to come back over and over and over. That 1 extra damage might actually make a difference. Now, they are going to reset for the turn, and it's going to be on Rudy's side of things. Looks like he's going to be scrapping a force field possibly to play another upgrade. I don't know if he runs grenade launchers. I don't know if I've seen those in the gameplay. He is going to be playing battle ready, which is going to be able to give him +3 attack, keeping the bold one side going and definitely getting in there for quite a bit of damage. Rudy does have 3 grenade launchers in the list as well, so he totally might have been trying to possibly play a grenade launcher from hand. Couldn't quite see what he did have. I think the Bolt 2 is still a fantastic weapon. I don't know if there's another weapon that you really need to put out there. Alrighty, attacking in for a bunch of damage. Let's see what he ends up putting on here as far as damage goes. Looks like they're going back just to make sure that the math was correct. He's only flipping 1 more, but plus the armor plating does give him +1 blue. Yep, looks like they're just double checking the math on it, making sure that the Metroplex does have 3 armor here. Rudy, what a nice guy. Such a nice guy. Alrighty, playing a backup plan, which allows him to scrap his hand and draw 3 new cards. He's got a fresh new grip. I did see a flamethrower there. Didn't really see anything else, and clearly there wasn't anything good enough to play as he turns sideways and goes in for the attack, getting a double orange off the top and a white, which is really nice. There's 2 whites. We need a double blue here, and it looks like we're not going to get that double blue. He's already flipped a bunch of those double blues on that defense, or I'm sorry, on that previous attack. Super unfortunate again not being able to get that proc off. It will bust the force field though this turn, and that will put 4 damage on top of him. Rudy's condensing some of his damage tokens here to be able to put it out there. Now it looks like he is at 11 damage, so no matter what, the Metroplex is going to be able to finish off this turn. So let's see if Rudy has a way to deal enough damage to be able to KO this turn. There is the grenade launcher that I was pretty sure that he had last turn, and a battle ready giving him +2 attack. So that is going to be 9, 10, 11 going into him just base. So that is an insane amount of damage. We have 12, 13, 14, 15 damage, and it looks like this might be enough to just take down Metroplex, especially not having access to any of the blues in the deck, and it looks like it was enough to get the job done. Game 2 goes to Rudy, and that does end the match 2-0. I'm having an absolute blast casting over all of these games for you guys. I really hope that you guys are enjoying them, and a big sorry for the way that the last video did go out. I just could not export that video with Game 3 to save my life. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying. And if you guys are not subscribed, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you guys can get access to all of our videos as soon as they become available. I'll see you guys tomorrow for rounds 5 and 6.